welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We are here on the road, and I'm here with my father. We are in New York City. We've been released from our jail cell, which is a nice thing. And so the warden let us out to do this broadcast with you. We are inside the Travel Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York, is there for you Monday through Saturday for sales and service. And you can find out more about their new and used vehicles by going to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. My father and I this morning are going to be bringing you our trio of specials inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin'. We'll both give you an annoying moment of the week presented by Carvel DeWitt. We will both bring you Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero. And I'll surprise my dad on the topic today. We'll both honor our top dogs of the week from the Yankee Diamondbacks game that we came down here to New York City to see. And then Tyus Battle will join me in hour number 2 to speak on the state of Syracuse basketball, the NCAA Tournament, and his brother Khalif Battle and Khalif's time at Gonzaga. So with that being said, welcome to the show, Dad.
Thank you. Good morning.
So annoying moment of the week is what we're going to first, and let's hop right into it.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I really honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
Do you have to be that crazy? I guess so. The annoying moment of the week, proudly coming to you from Carvel DeWitt this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and I'm going to defer to my dad. We don't know each other's annoying moment, but I'm going to go ahead and give it to my dad first to provide his annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt.
My annoying moment was last night at the game, having only gone to maybe a handful of professional baseball games, and being unable to go into any of the restaurants because I didn't have a ticket.
Yeah, there was a very interesting thing. You go into a stadium, and there's different restaurants at stadiums, so you think, okay, well, let me find what I'm hungry for and go and stand in line. And no matter where you were, if you were on the main level or if you were on the 400 level, 300 level, you would go up to a place and you would stand in line. And if you didn't have a ticket outside of your actual ticket to the game, you are not allowed in to the restaurant, which is a very strange situation.
Absolutely strange. Frustrating. So we were left with chicken fingers.
Yeah, we were left to eat chicken fingers in a bucket of wet fries, and we ate the chicken fingers. We left the fries. We were offered free soda. We wanted water instead, and the lady was nice enough to actually get us some water. But besides that, it was a very unique and strange experience. For those of you in Syracuse, New York, it would be like going to the Syracuse Mets game and walking up to a restaurant there at the Syracuse Mets and them saying, unless you have a wristband or a special ticket, you can't eat here. So it was one of those things of bouncing from place to place, feeling like a peasant because you didn't have the right ticket.
Right. It's like going to the state fair, paying the admission, and then still having to pay to get on the rides.
Right. So, not fair, not fun. My annoying moment of the week, I would have to say, is the outrageously terrible car service outside of Yankee Stadium. Uber, for all of the things that you've done that have been good, you dropped us 4 times. And so my dad and I are waiting out in the dark at 10 o'clock at night, trying to figure things out. And Uber was supposed to pick us up, drove around, dropped us, went to another ride, drove around, dropped us, walked down a little ways after a cop told me to go away from the stadium. So now my dad and I are almost in pitch black in New York City. That driver dropped us. The next driver dropped us. And so thankfully, by the grace of God, there was a taxi driver that pulled up that just so happened to be there. And we were able to get back to the hotel because the hotel wasn't anywhere close. So I would say that Uber's got some work to do, and the car service have some work to do with making sure that people can get home safe and sound. And I would have to call that my annoying moment of the week because it comes down to safety. And by the way, because they know the game is over and they know they're surging, they charged $40 to the game. They were trying to charge $80 to leave the game. And I don't think they should be able to do that.
I agree. Well, I'm a traditionalist. I believe in taxi cabs. We took a taxi cab here to the hotel from the airport. We took a taxi cab home last night. It was cheaper. It was safer. It was dependable. So there, Ubers.
So yeah, I mean it's one of those things where, and I've been left in Atlanta until 1 o'clock in the morning, and because nobody wanted to pick anyone up from Mercedes-Benz Stadium, so I was left outside. There was a guy out there with his son who was probably 3 or 4 years old. People refused to pick us up because they didn't want to go by the stadium at night from Uber, and so they essentially left us outside until someone, out of the goodness of their heart, was willing to take us back. I had a woman that had me on her thing that she was going to pick me up, and she just sat there with it on and never picked me up. So I would say that as much as we've come a long ways in providing other services to people in order to get from point A to point B, the price gouging as well as the failure to keep your word, failure to pick somebody up, and utter confusion. I mean, obviously, if you're asking for an Uber, you're probably not from that city, you're probably not from that place, you probably have no idea where you are, no idea where you're going, no idea how to get from point A to point B. And to take advantage of people in that respect is pretty sad. And I always call out when people are taken advantage of because it's not fair. And I think that tourists are taken advantage of price-wise. And you also put people in danger because they don't know where they are. They don't know where they're supposed to walk. They don't know what they're supposed to do. And I've had Uber drivers tell me before, well, why didn't you go to the Uber pickup? And why didn't you do this? And why didn't you, tell me where you were? And why didn't you make this more clear and this and that? And I'm like, I don't live here. I've never been here before. I remember one time an Uber went across the street in New York City in the rain, and I had all my luggage, and because she sat there for a couple minutes, she charged me more because I was trying to get across the street in New York City. So do better is what I would say to Uber, to Lyft, and to all these things that are supposed to be helpful to people. And stop flirting with the people in your backseat too. I know there's women that have taken Ubers that have felt incredibly unsafe. So I think we got to make some changes. Definitely.
For all you kids out there, take a taxi.
So with that being said, we're going to jump into Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. And today's topic inside a Lead, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and the wonderful Jim Rusakowski and Company, is the bond between dad and son. So when you see that title, Dad, what do you think?
Memories, pride, tears, joy, an extension of the family name, history. That's what I see.
Yeah, I think the bond between dad and son is incredibly important. I think it's important to have bonds with your mom and your dad, and hopefully you have that. If you don't have that, with a guardian. If you don't have that, with a grandparent. If you don't have that, then with a friend, somebody that you work with that can build that bond with you. Those of you that know me know that the majority of the people I call family are not my blood. So, you can find parental figures and you can find brothers and sisters, which I have many of, by simply just being a good person in this world and trusting in God. When it comes to having a bond with your dad, to me it goes deeper than just going to a game. It goes deeper than seeing a home run. It goes deeper than, a $20 bucket of chicken. It goes to, can you have conversations? Can you share who you are? Can you sing in front of each other? Can you laugh? Can you talk about the things that matter to you? Can you have those dreams and have somebody want to see you succeed and want to see you do well? I think it's imperative in life to build a bond and to make sure you nurture that. Sometimes people find something good and then they just say, okay, I found it, and then they don't continue to nurture it. They don't continue to protect it. And I think my relationship with my dad has evolved over time, and it was different than it is right now. And as it evolves and it gets better and it grows, I think, for me, it's important to know that you have somewhere you can go back to, that you have someone you can talk to, that you have someone who always wants the best for you and has your best interest in mind and is willing to fight the world for you. You know, that's how I want to be with my kids someday, and that's something that I find imperative is, you know, things that my dad taught me about being fearless, about standing in a room and not feeling like you don't belong, about doing the right thing no matter what type of threat that brings you or what type of negativity that brings you. Don't do the right thing once, do it every time. Don't give people a reason. You know, when I walk into rooms with people that have been negative to me, hateful toward me, disrespectful toward me, my father's always said, don't give them a reason. You know, they're going to do what they want to do. They're going to say what they want to say, but don't give them a reason to be right. And, you know, as long as you can put your head on the pillow at night, as much as this world may try to hurt you, if you know who you are and you know what you do and you don't give people a reason to be right about that negativity, then, you know, you can get past anything. And I think, you know, some of the lessons my dad taught me have been really hard in life because life is hard, but I appreciate the lessons that you gave me.
Thank you. You have to learn to live in the present, look forward to the future, forget about the past, learn from it, but don't live in it.
Yeah, and I think the past it's a teacher. It's definitely a place for you when you're in the present and you start seeing the same repetitions or the same things for you to understand that. But you can't hold people, places, and things accountable for what's happened before. And I think that most of the problems that people have in life, that I've had in life, is that you will compare past pain to present situation. And when you do that, you can kind of find a problem to every solution, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't do that. It's everything is fluid. People are different. It may resemble something that happened in the past a little bit. That doesn't mean the outcome is going to be the same. That doesn't mean reactions are going to be the same. So, learn from it, move forward. Got to live in the present.
What's the best thing that Grandpa ever taught you?
Work hard. If you're going to work, make sure you put in a full day. If not, stay home. Be honest with yourself, with everybody else. Your name is your fame. Okay. I was in the legal profession I'm still in the legal profession, not practicing currently, but for over 40 years. And your word is your bond, and you're known for whether or not you're upfront and fair. And if you get a reputation for not being that way, people are always going to look at you cross-eyed and, you know, wonder, you know, is what he's trying to sell me right now, is it valid, is it true? So he taught me to, you know, work hard, keep to your word, respect other people, okay? And that's how you're going to get respected, all right? You don't get respect, you earn respect.
How would Grandpa assess walking into a room of a bunch of people that have never given you a chance and aren't going to?
He'd say, screw them, okay? You know who you are. You know what you are. You know what you mean to yourself and to others. Forget about them. Like I say to you all the time, these people that are disrespectful, don't acknowledge, I said, other than having to go into that room to perform your job, to do your job, would you sit down and break bread with these people? Probably not, okay? So they're not of the same mindset as you are.
Yeah.
All right? And they're not going to be your friends. They don't want to be your friends. Don't hope that they're going to be your friends because you really don't want them as friends, all right? They're competitors, all right? And in your particular profession, it's a very dog-eat-dog type of profession, all right? People will do anything to one-up you. They won't verify information before they throw it out there because they want to be the first one to throw it out there. Whether it's true or not, they just throw it out there because it's first. And they don't live with the consequences. They don't apologize to you for being wrong.
Yeah.
They just do it. Right? You don't want to be that way. You want to be someone that when you say something, people are going to believe in what you say. And if you make a mistake, then you got to be upfront and say, hey, I screwed up. So.
Yeah, I think being in the world that I live in, I did not anticipate or expect it to be. I thought it would be competitive. I thought there would be a lot of people trying to do certain things, but I didn't think that it would be a world of theft, a world of lies, a world of miscommunication, a world of disrespect, a world of double standards and a different set of rules for different people, a place where things would be dangled above you like a carrot, people would be used as pawns, and that there was a lack of respect of the relationship, and that everything was transactional and people treated people like ATMs. The more I've learned about the media, the more I wear the name on my badge, but I tell people all the time, it says media, but I'm the opposite when it comes to morals and values. And I think being a person who believes in God and has morals and values in the media is like somebody infiltrating a place. Mm-hmm. I am definitely the outcast in the room, but if I'm the outcast in the name of God, then I will be the outcast.
True. You know, when I was first year of law school, we were given a writing project, and we had to find a particular case that fit the situation. And first year law students, and you find out that somebody went in, found the case in the book, because we used to go to books back then.
Yeah.
They actually cut the case right out of the book so nobody else could have the case. So, I mean, what does that tell you about a person who's in law school? What kind of a lawyer do you think that person turned out to be? Even if they, assuming that they became a lawyer, okay?
Yeah.
They do anything to beat everybody else. You know, life isn't fair, but people shouldn't make it unfair.
Right. No, and that's a good quote, and it's an honest quote. I think that, you know, there's certain things I remember when we talk about father and son, and I think about my grandparents, my grandfathers, an extension of that you know, parental side of things and the patriarch side of things. And your dad, my Pop Miller, I'll never forget this. I just told the story recently, and I'm going to try and not get choked up when I tell it. But he built a swing for me in the basement of the house that my dad grew up in. And he built the swing there, and I said to him, he brought me downstairs one day, the swing was there, and it was right next to his workstation. And he would always let me, when he was working on something, he would always let me like play with the magnets and the screws and like different things and whatnot. And I said, Grandpa, he looked at me, I looked outside, I looked through this little rectangular window, you can hear kids playing and laughing. And, you know, I was kind of like, Grandpa, why am I not outside? But I wanted to be there with him. And I remember him saying to me, he said, I built you that swing because I want you to have fun like they do. And I want you to be a kid. But I built it in here because I don't ever want you to not be by my side.
Wow. I never heard that story.
Yeah, he said, I built the swing so that you could have fun because I want you to be a kid, but selfishly I want you here.
My father was a very quiet man. Didn't say a lot, but when he said something, it hit you like a ton of bricks. It really did. And he could be funny. He could be a funny guy. He had an older brother. And back in the day, all the Catholic churches used to have summer festivals where you had games and rides and stuff, and they also had a drawing. So my father's older brother disguises his voice, calls my father, and tells my father he's won the grand prize. Okay, my father's all excited because he's won this grand prize, and my uncle starts laughing, and my father gets upset with him. So my father puts that in his back pocket. Yeah. Come the wintertime that year, we get a terrible, terrible storm. And my uncle was at work when the storm hit, and he could only get to a parking lot probably 7-8 blocks from his house, and he had to leave his car there and then walk home. So my father knows this. And my father decides, okay, it's time to get even. So he calls up his brother. He disguises his voice. He says, this is the Department of Public Works. Do you have a car parked in this parking lot? And I goes, yeah. He goes, well, you better get it out of there because it's going to be towed. And my mother's yelling at my father in the background, you better tell him it's you because he's going to go out and he's going to walk in that snow and something can happen. My father's laughing. He finally called his brother. He says, hey, don't call. It's just me. But that's the kind of guy he was. He waited. He got even.
Yeah.
You know, but very quiet man.
What brother was that?
My Uncle Bucky.
Uncle Bucky?
Yeah.
So, and I do want to tell the story with my dad on camera. Our family was honored in the newspaper during World War II. 4 brothers all went off into World War II. My grandfather, Ralph Tortora Jr., Ralph Daniel Tortora Jr., he went to the front lines of Germany at 18 years old. My Uncle Bucky, Frank, his birth name, my Uncle Bucky was also a fighter in Germany, and he got captured and was in Auschwitz. My great uncle Pat was so they were both in the Army. My great uncle Pat was in the Air Force. His plane caught some flack on the way back, and they had to parachute out. He parachuted out with the pilot, and they were hidden in Luxembourg, and they were hidden from the Nazis, the family that hid them. There's a monument there. There's a book about it, and they saved my Uncle Pat's life and countless other people. And then my great uncle Vincent was in Japan making weapons during World War II, and every single one of them came home. And then my great uncle Carmen, who married into the family, he was in the United States Navy. And then my grandfather on my other side, my mom's dad, my grandpa Cavino, was also in the United States Navy. Crazy thing that I was thinking about recently, if either one of my grandfathers didn't come home, I don't exist.
It's true.
And every single member of our family came home.
Yep. They did. Thank God.
Like, when you think back to those times and it seems like surreal and it seems like it could only be a movie, what do you think about in the pride of having family in the Navy, the Army, the Air Force? They all served in World War II and they all came home.
I think about my dad because he was only 18, so he was the youngest of the 4 brothers that went in, and he volunteered. He wasn't drafted, and at that age, and I know there's millions of other men who have served at that age and gone into battle. Some of them have come home and some of them have not. But at that age, I can't imagine the fear that he must have felt at times.
Yeah.
You know, he used to, he wouldn't talk about the war very much at all. And the one story he did talk about was one of the guys in his platoon was from Texas, big Texan. And as you said, my father's middle name is Daniel. So this big Texan used to sing to my father, Danny Boy. Well, this young man from Texas was killed in a foxhole next to my father. And my father, from that day on, could never listen to the song Danny Boy. If that song started to play anywhere at any time, if it was on the radio, he turned it off. If it was at a party, at a dance, at a wedding, he'd have to walk out of the room. Couldn't hear it. It just brought back real bad memories, you know. And to be that young and to think about that and to, you know, never having used a weapon before, he wasn't a hunter, to go in, and my father had the machine gun, and so I'm sure my father killed Germans. You know, I'm sure that happened. Don't know for sure because he never talked about, but I'm sure. But at 18 years of old, you know, you're taking other lives. You know, you don't know them; they're unknown. You don't see their faces. You don't know them. You don't know anything about them other than they're the bad guys, you're the good guys, and you got to take them out. You know, and to come home with that. And back then, I don't think they had much for PS. You know, post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah.
You know, you had all these veterans coming back, and back then, I mean, think about all the veterans that came back home. Many, many, many more than the current wars that we've been involved in. And they had to live with it, you know. And God bless these guys. These guys that go out and fight for our ability to be on this show today, to be able to talk about things, you know, to tell people about our experiences, our history. God bless America, you know. I don't know if I could have done it. I was pretty close at that time that they were drafting for the Vietnam War when I was growing up. I had 3 cousins that were enlisted. Thank God none of them were in active combat, but, you know, pretty scary.
Yeah, and I mean, I think to know where he was and to know what he must have seen is just, and like you said, he didn't really much talk about it. My great uncle Pat, we would talk about it a little. He had a bunch of stuff in his basement, Purple Heart, multiple. He had 2 Purple Hearts, and we would discuss different things. And then one day he had me get a bunch of stuff and bring it upstairs, and we sat there with my great aunt Sue, and he put the binders out on the table and had the coins and had all of this different stuff. And for like 2 hours at least, he spoke with me about World War II and about his experience. And he said, you know, we would come across a dead body, you know, we'd kill somebody or something would happen, and we would just take what we could find. We'd take the change, I flipped over this binder, and there was this book in there, and it looked like a sketch, but it looked like a passport. And I was like, don't tell me this is what this is. Like, yeah, you know, we went up to a body, and he took the papers off the guy. And, I mean, he had in there the thing that you would use, the apparatus they gave them to milk a cow if they found themselves in the wild and they had to try and find something to drink. So there was all these different pieces, and I remember he had this like coin purse thing, and I flipped it over and I opened it, and this thing fell on top, and it was just sitting there, and it looked like a quarter. It was bigger, but it looked like a quarter because it had the eagle on it, but the eagle was standing on a swastika, and it was gold. And I just remember putting that in my hand and like feeling evil, feeling like this happened, this existed. And like you hear about it, but like to actually see it and to hold it. And I just remember I never seen my Uncle Pat cry my whole life, and not like this. He might have had a moment at a Christmas party, but he was crying. And my Aunt Sue looked at me and she goes, Daniel, you don't understand. He has never talked about the war this much with anyone. And that day he just kind of let it all out. And I learned so much from him, and like history came alive in those moments. And I feel proud of my family. I feel grateful that God guided and got them home safe and sound. It's unique to have had that experience that they had, and I hope that nobody else has that experience. And I just feel like when you look at your family, you have a choice in family of, do you want to be together, do you not want to be together? Do you want to support each other, do you not want to support each other? Does blood matter, does it not matter? And my grandfather's always made an effort, and my great uncle's always made an effort, and my great aunt's always made an effort. And so I feel really spoiled that like we had all these people in our family that always wanted to protect and remind you, like, we came from Italy. We owe it to our ancestors. We came here, we fought, we worked hard, we did everything that we could. We fought for this country, we defended this country. You know, we defended God, we believe in God, we go to church, we pray before a meal. There's just all these things that I was taught from my family that I think are imperative. So when you think about father and son, like my dad and I pray before every meal. It's important to us to talk to God, to talk about God. We talk pretty much every day. And I just feel like, to the moms and dads out there, like, I don't care if you have one kid or 20, don't ever lose the bond. And to the kids out there, don't ever try to have that bond. You're 16 years old. You think it's not cool. I don't want to go to the movies with my mom. Da 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 da. I would tell you that, you know, you only have one set of parents, and when you have that, you know, make the most of it. And if there's a parent that doesn't want to be a part of your life, then I pray that God provides for you a guardian that gives you that, because I feel like everybody should be able to come home and at the very least eat dinner at the table together and then sit on the couch and watch something funny and talk to each other. I think the very simple memories are the most important ones. Any other words on dad and son and the bond of family?
Cherish it. Don't lose it. Build it. Make memories.
So that coming from Chick-fil-A Cicero in this edition of LEAD. Learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver is what the acronym stands for. Presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero on 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, New York, with Jim Sikowski and the crew. It is now time for us to bring you our top dog of the week, but I can't do it without Lily's help. Top dog of the week coming to you from K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare. K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare comes to you on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York, right across from BJ's. You can actually see it as you're getting on the highway and coming off of Erie Boulevard. K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, there for you, for your dogs, with daily care so that you can have peace of mind. They're home away from home. I want to thank Lorraine, Chad, and the entire team at K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare for all the work that you do to help us to feel safe when we drop our dogs off of all different shapes and sizes. So, Dad, your top dog of the week from the Arizona Diamondbacks New York Yankees game is
Aaron Judge. Went 3 for 5 last night. Home run, double, single. Drove in 4 runs, I believe.
Yeah.
Had a stolen base. One short of the cycle. Pretty impressive guy. It's kind of funny when you're at the stadium and you're looking down at the diamond and you see this giant standing out there, and the other players look like they're tiny men. It's pretty funny, but yeah, Aaron Judge.
Yeah, Aaron Judge being your top dog of the week. Aaron going 3 for 5 and helping to start the work that the Yankees put in when their bats woke up. The Yankees lost the series ultimately to the Diamondbacks after losing the first game 7-5 and losing the next game 4-3. They win this one 9-7. And in this matchup, as we go back and look at it, I also want to make note of the fact of something that happened yesterday, which is massive, and that is Aaron Judge homers for the 500th extra base hit and has 4 RBIs. So his 500th extra base hit in his history, we got to see that. So my dad and I have been to Yankee Stadium twice. The first time we went to Yankee Stadium, it was on Jackie Robinson Day, where everybody wears number 42. It was also the last season that Mariano Rivera played for the Yankees, and he was the last player to wear number 42 before they retired it permanently to honor Jackie Robinson. And so we got to go there on that day, and yesterday we got to see Aaron Judge with a 3-run first inning drive. They made him the 3rd fastest Yankee player with 500 extra base hits. He finished with 3 hits, 4 RBIs to lead the Yankees over the Diamondbacks 9-7. Trent Grisham and Jazz Chisholm Jr., who started out a Diamondback, added 2-run homers off Merrill Kelly, who allowed a career-high 9 runs, 9 hits, and 3 walks in 3 2/3 innings. The Yankees had 22 homers on a 4-2 opening homestand, 5 more than any other team hit in its first 6 games. So they continue to get the job done here. Judge fell a triple short of the cycle and is hitting .417 with 5 home runs, 15 RBIs. He has 320 home runs, 175 doubles, and 5 triples in 999 games. Only Joe DiMaggio, 853, and Lou Gehrig, 869, reached 500 extra base hits in fewer games among Yankees. What does it mean to you for Aaron Judge to be talked about in the same breath as Joe DiMaggio and Lou Gehrig?
Pretty impressive crowd to be in.
I have to give my top dog of the week, so I will ask Lily to help us out one time. If my dad's is Aaron Judge. My top dog of the week, I'm going to bring it back to when the game was better for the Diamondbacks. I'm going to give it to Zach Gallen, the ace of many years for the Arizona Diamondbacks, that in the second game of this series, Zach Gallen was able to continue. I think it's 18 2/3 innings now where he has held the Yankees scoreless, and he had 13 strikeouts in the second game of the series. He's had 13 strikeouts twice in his career. The other time was September 22nd, 2022 against the Los Angeles Dodgers. So I'm going to give it up to Zach Gallen. But if I had to choose somebody from the Yankee game itself last night that we went to, this one it's hard because I'm a Yankee second, I'm a Diamondback first, and I'm a Yankee second because of my grandfather and my dad. So when I look back on this and I look at who I could possibly give anything to, Geraldo Perdomo, who had 5 at-bats, 1 run, 1 hit, 4 RBIs. His home run grand slam is the thing that helped to lift the Diamondbacks to 7 to actually make this a game with a few innings to go. So I'm going to give it, if I had to pick a Diamondback, I'm going to give it to Geraldo Perdomo, which he has not talked about as much. And so I want to show him some love and show him some respect where respect is definitely earned. But then I also would say on the Yankees side, Grisham to have his home run that brought in 3 runs batted in there on that. So I think Grisham, after seeing what Aaron Judge did, Grisham continued to pour it on. He continued to help. Dominguez did a good job as well. So on the Diamondback side, my top dog of the week, Geraldo Perdomo for making it a game. On my Yankees side, because you already picked Aaron Judge, and that would be an easy choice for me, I will pick Grisham and give Grisham credit here for continuing the onslaught. And by the way, when you see Cody Bellinger, Aaron Judge, Jazz Chisholm Jr. in the lineup, like 1, 2, 3, like right there with each other, not the first 3 because obviously Ben Rice is ahead of them, but when you see Bellinger, Judge, Chisholm, Dominguez, Volpe, honestly, if this team can be consistent in their hitting on paper, they look almost unstoppable.
Yeah. If. It's a big if.
Big if.
And they still need the pitching.
That's right. And so with Garrett Cole being out. By the way, another annoying moment of the week, really wanted to buy a Yankees jersey from Yankee Stadium, $329. so maybe we could just adjust that price a little bit and make it a little more affordable. But we did get these hats, and they're flex-fitted hats. They say Yankees. Let's see if you can see it. It say Yankees on the back. It's got the pinstripes with the Yankee, but it's more subtle. And it's got the white with the dark here. So we both got these hats yesterday in celebration. Dad, what do you think? This was your birthday gift. So to my top dog of the week, which is you, in celebration of your birthday.
Thank you.
Thoughts on the fact that we got to celebrate your birthday with Yankees Diamondbacks?
We celebrated my birthday yesterday. My birthday was back on New Year's Eve. Yeah. It was great. It was great. Whenever I get to spend time with you, it's great. You came up with this game. We kind of threw things together last minute. Next time we'll get a better meal than chicken fingers, and overall it's been wonderful. Hey, spending time with your kid doesn't get any better than that.
That comment from Pops here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We have a few more minutes before I get set up to bring on Tyus Battle. So what would you like to talk about? You've been on the show at times for a few minutes. First time you came on the show was when I was leaving Orlando's ESPN 1080 The Team, and you came on to give a few words. That was the first time you came on a broadcast. You've been on the broadcast at other times. I've called you up on your birthday and put you on live. Now this is the first time we're actually on video together, and we're sitting here in our wonderful abode as we get set to come back to upstate New York, where there are less people, less rats, and less congestion. I don't know why anybody would live here on purpose. And it's not that I don't appreciate New York City and the people of New York City, and it's not that I don't appreciate coming here and visiting. I don't know why anybody would say, can I have a really tiny spot to live in for like 10 times the price of a 5-bedroom house, and may I have screaming and yelling and people everywhere, graffiti all over the place, and feel more unsafe than I ever feel safe is confusing to me. But any other words that you would like to say now that we're on the screen for the first time?
I agree with you. I wouldn't want to pay 10 times the price for a little bit of space to waste half of my time in a vehicle going a very short distance, where back home it might take us 10 minutes to go 10 miles. In New York City, it takes you 30 minutes to go 10 miles. All the confusion and I know a lot of people. My mother's family came from New York City. They lived in Brooklyn. Some of them lived here forever. Some of them lived in apartments their entire lives. God bless them. I don't know how they could do it. I need my air. I need my space. I don't need to be in a car waiting to get really nowhere slow.
Yeah. I think, and it's not really easy to get anywhere.
No.
And the one thing that's supposed to make things easy, the subway, is not safe.
Right.
So it's expensive, confusing, congested. The air almost never feels like there's any type of good chemicals in it. And so I will tell people, and it's funny because people talk to me when I say I'm from New York, and it's funny, when I get into an Uber in any state and they say, "Where are you from?" I say, "New York." They're either silent or they go, "Oh." And I go upstate New York and they go, "Oh." So they go from, "Oh, you're probably a jerk," to, "Oh, you're probably a nice person." And because they associate New York with New York City, and they associate New York City with bad attitudes and angry people and people that are constantly in a rush. So when they hear you're from upstate New York, I'm like, yeah, see, the difference between upstate New York and New York City is like comparing Florida to Japan. Like, there's not a lot of things that link us. We have nature, we have water, we have these beautiful hills, we have this incredible tapestry when fall rolls around and you see the fruity pebble. I call them the fruity pebble trees. When you're on 81, you can ski. There's different beaches you could go to. There's our awesome zoo that we have. There's so many things to do in central and upstate New York, and so many wonderful people that have those businesses. I'm proud to work with a plethora of them. They're up on your screen right now. And so I feel really, really spoiled. Brian's Landing always makes me feel like I'm on vacation. Servomation has changed everything I think about vending. GG Cards and Breaks keeps me a big kid with sports cards and trading cards. The Wildcat is such an awesome place, and there's a stage. I get to sit up there and interview kids as a job and tell their stories. Mother's Cupboard, I have my own sandwich at a Syracuse staple. Great Lakes, Honda City is where I've gotten all my vehicles from that have kept me safe. And those of you that know me know that my Honda CRV, in my 1999 Honda CRV, arguably saved my life when I was in New York City and was hit by a drunk driver. Carvel DeWitt, longest standing Carvel in the country, had my own ice cream there. K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, anything that has Lorraine connected to it has been great to us. Chick-fil-A Cicero, I met one of my brothers there, Jim Rsikowski. Pizza Man, we have some of the funniest and most exciting conversations. Ma and Pa's is like going to an amusement park. Avicoli's gives you that Italian fine dining feel that reminds me of sitting down with my grandparents and obviously have been there with my parents. So, you know, I've been extremely spoiled, and I've had the opportunity, and then with Lemoyne and Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse at Binghamton, student athletes to tell their stories and meet people from this community and all around the world. Upstate New York is such an unsung hero, and we get all 4 seasons. It gets really hot. Yes, it gets cold at times. We get to have the purity of snow, and as my father so eloquently put it, and I've said it before, there's storms and there's weather that happen all over the world, but we're the only storm that you can play in. Can't play in a tornado, can't play in a hurricane, can't play in a monsoon, can't play in an earthquake. But when there's a lot of snow, you can go outside and see one of the purest things that God ever drops on this earth, and you can actually play in a snowstorm as much as it might be inconvenient to drive in. So I would think of any weather that we have, the worst weather that we have is weather that you can play in. And so I want to give Syracuse some credit because we're kind of like the healthy balance of everything.
I agree. 4 seasons are great. Some of them should be a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But, you know.
We could thank global warming for that.
We could thank global warming for that. But, you know, got to take what God gives you.
Yeah.
And make the best of it.
And so to all of the wonderful spots, to all the wonderful places, to all the wonderful things you get to do, to all of the history of my family, coming from Ellis Island and coming into this country, obviously we're Spanish, we're Italian, and to know some of the history of my Italian side, coming through Ellis Island, most of them coming to upstate New York, most of them staying in upstate New York. I want to say thank you to the generations of my family, to the Tortoras, the Nutzos, the Albinos, the Petrofazes, the Campis, and so on and so forth, the Cavinos, the Radas, for everything that they've done to build a life here. And I would say our food is great, and we have an awesome experience. And my grandparents taught me hard work. My parents taught me hard work. My parents taught me to be responsible. They taught me to care about what you're doing, to not do something if you're going to have to do it, to give your all, to be yourself, to be proud of who you are, to pave your own way, to not ask anybody to do anything for you or expect anybody to do anything for you, to make sure that, you put God first, you pray every day, you know where your blessings come from, and you do the best you can with whatever you can in every moment that you can, and that when you go to sleep at night, you can honestly say that you tried and you gave your best effort. So to you and to Mom and to Gammy Miller and Pop Miller and Pop Cavino and G Mama, I want to say thank you, because not everybody has this, not everybody gets raised this way, not everybody has the morals and the values and church and God and all of these things that you've given to me. So, I appreciate the fact that you and I have built a friendship beyond simply being father and son, and I love the fact that we can talk and we can laugh and we can be emotional, and I wouldn't change a day going with you to a game at Yankee Stadium or sitting on the couch and watching a game at home. I love you, Dad.
I love you too, Bill.
Thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you too.
That's Pops. We're taking a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. When we come back in just a few minutes after our fast break, where you get to hear from our awesome partners, you will hear from Tyus Battle. That's right, the man. You know this guy. We actually followed him through the tournament, and Tyus Battle doing the things that he's done and having the success that he had. His brother, Khalif Battle, just played for the Gonzaga Bulldogs, one of the other teams that I love so very dearly in this country. And I'm so excited to speak with Tyus about Khalif, about the state of the Orange, and about the NCAA Tournament. And, I mean, he's a hero. He's a hero to people in Syracuse. So can't wait to talk with him. Thank you, Dad, for your time.
Thank you.
As always. And thank you for coming out and celebrating this. My dad and I have now been to Jackie Robinson Day, Mariano Rivera's last season. Like I said, for the Yankees, it was the first game we went to as adults here. First game my dad ever took me to, and my mom was at the Sky Dome, Toronto Blue Jays. I think I was 7 or 9. Might have been 9. And we went to see Joe Carter play, and they beat the Twins, I think, 11-2. And so went out there then when the Blue Jays were really good. Then took my dad to Yankee Stadium. He had never been to Old Yankee or New Yankee Stadium. Brought him to New Yankee Stadium for Jackie Robinson Day. Mariano Rivera, celebrating him in his last season. Then we took each other to the World Series in 2023. Went to Arizona for the first time. Went to Chase Ballpark for the first time ever. And now we saw the Diamondbacks and the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. So a Yankee game, a Diamondback game, a Yankee Diamondback game. What's next, Dad?
Italy.
I was going to say that. The Coliseum.
Coliseum.
Yeah. So with that being said, we'll take a step aside. Appreciate the people that love you, folks. Be good to each other. And I pray that you all have a warm place to lay your head. With that being said, we'll take a step aside in the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Stay with us. Here's a message from Renee from Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business, had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees, and as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there was something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in 2007, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There was a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience. It's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really changed the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allow customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality. And I think on both of those fronts, Servomation has really, in large part, changed that value system for employees. So they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water machine, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean to cup coffee machine. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. And in a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like knowing how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I can tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be at the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. I am honored and privileged to be inside of the Great Lakes Honda City studios. And as we are here traveling through New York City, and so we have our digs here as Pops and I get ready to go back to the airport and get back on a plane. That's all I've been doing lately here. We got the man here with me, picture in picture, Tyus Battle, and look at how low that hair is right now. It's just he's cut it all off. And so, Tyus, how we doing, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. So happy to have you here. Happy to have you on the broadcast, and always appreciate the time that we get to spend together. I do want to preface this by saying something that I said when my dad was just here on camera with me a few minutes ago. If I could say that in my time of covering Syracuse basketball, I have had the honor and the privilege of over a decade to being around some of the best student athletes. And I'm not saying this because he's picture in picture with me. I'm saying it because it's true. One of my most favorite people to cover, someone who is a professional, who took personal responsibility, who grew as a player, who became a leader, who worked his tail off, who gave his blood, sweat, and tears to Syracuse. I wish we had more Tyus Battles, so that's how I want to introduce you to the show, Tyus.
I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah, well, you deserve it, man. You work really, really hard, and this is my hometown. So if somebody puts Syracuse across their chest, it represents my hometown well. They're going to get love from me forever. I know you know that.
I appreciate that.
So bring us into what's going on. How's life? I know you've done some overseas play. I know you've gone through some adversity and whatnot. So what's been going on?
Well, so at this point, I'm rehabbing from a knee surgery.
Yeah.
So I've been spending most of my time right now going around seeing my little brother play, who was at Gonzaga this past year, and my little sister who's going to school in Florida. So she's in her junior year, so I've been bouncing around a little bit watching them play.
And you bring up seeing your siblings play. What's life been like being in the crowd and watching them? Do you find yourself critiquing? Are you analytical? Are you just a proud brother? How do you see the game when you're in the stands?
Honestly, it's stressful. It is stressful. And it's so interesting because when I played and games were close like that, I wasn't stressed at all. I was so calm. But now, when I watch them play and they're in these tight games, close game scenarios, it is stressful. I'm in the stand sweating. So I don't know if it's because maybe I was able to, me being on the floor, I always knew I could always do something to change the outcome.
Yeah.
But now me watching and not having being in that situation, I just have to watch, and see what happens. So,
Well,
but it's been a lot of fun, and after the game, I always give my input, and they always come to me for my input. So it's been great.
What's your little sister's name?
Gigi.
Gigi. So when Gigi's out there doing her thing, how does she? Because we're gonna go sibling by sibling here. Like you said, at the end of the game, you have your notes. How does Gigi take your notes?
Honestly, both of them take it well.
Okay.
Both of them take it really well. Gigi, she's obviously younger, and Khalif, I talk to him all the time about this stuff as well. But the way I look at her is she has a completely different game than maybe myself and Khalif.
Yeah.
Khalif and I were more naturally wired scorers. That's what we're thinking. We're thinking to score the basketball. Gigi just does everything. First off, she's the hardest working player on the floor. She's diving for loose balls. Doesn't care if she gets hit. She's just a workhorse, and not many players bring that to the game. And I know that's a coach's dream, and that's what she really does amazing. She does that amazing.
So is it fair to say, I hope she's watching and listening, is it fair to say that Gigi fights for the ball more than you and Khalif?
Oh, me and Khalif combined. It's that. Me and Khalif combined. So we're working on getting her she scores the ball. She does score the ball. This past year, she averaged 19 and 8 rebounds for a team. Their national team. They play national schedule. They play Mount Verde, IMG, teams like that. But we're trying to fully round out her offensive game. Bring all that together. So when I talk to her, it's more about reading on the offensive level. You come off a screen, what do you see? If a defender's playing you close, playing you back, what would you do? It's those things. But she can still score the ball. Don't get me wrong. We score the ball around here. So
yeah. Does she know where she wants to go?
She has no idea yet.
Okay. How much time does she have?
She's gonna start doing her visits soon.
Okay.
Because her junior year just ended.
Yeah.
So she'll be doing those this summer, or even before the summertime. So, but she doesn't know where she's going yet.
Would you be going on visits? Will you and Khalif be the muscle on the visits here? That'll be kind of opening the door for her, asking the questions that maybe you didn't ask when you were getting recruited.
Nah, I let my dad handle that. He's definitely the muscle behind that. I mean, he's done it with me, Khalif, Gigi, so he definitely knows what he's talking about. I mean, he'll obviously come to me he actually comes to me every time just for my advice and what my input would be in these decisions.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's played the game his whole life. He's been around the game his whole life, so he definitely understands this thing.
What do you think when Pops walks into a room and there's a recruiting visit? What should people know about Pops? Like, what should they really understand about him when he's about to come into the room? Like his energy. Bring me into where you're. Let's just say, for argument's sake, you're off to Kentucky. You're going into the University of Kentucky, meeting with the Wildcat staff. Pop walks in. What does that energy feel like?
Well, he's straight business. He's straight to it. I mean, he has his own. He's had his own insurance brokerage company that he's built himself for the past 15, 20 years. So he knows, like, walking in, he knows what questions to ask.
Yeah.
And he likes being straightforward with his approach. He doesn't like sugarcoating anything. And I think a lot of ways that's why him and Coach Boeheim got along so well, because they're both very straightforward with their responses, straightforward with their approach. And I can always appreciate that. That's one thing I've always appreciated about him is if I have good games, bad games, he'll tell me, and he won't hold back on it either, which is good.
Yeah. So I mean, your dad, just thinking about the world of Gary Battle, how would you describe him to somebody that doesn't know him?
He's definitely an intense guy. Like, he's very intense, very regimented. He likes his schedule, but he'll do anything for his kids, and that's what I appreciate the most about him. I mean, he'll fight for us at any aspect of life, and that's all you can ask with the dad.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, you've been through it, you've seen it, you've experienced it. Khalif has had his road, right? He's committed to a place, gone to another place, transferred, and whatnot. What was it like watching his road through college basketball? Because you went to Syracuse, you stayed at Syracuse. He's had a little bit different of a journey. So when you're watching Khalif's journey, what have you thought about when you see him kind of navigate through, maybe this is the right fit, okay, I don't think that it is, let me go look again, let me go find my place, just what you could say to that?
Well, with Caleb's situation, I think a lot of people just see like he's been at different schools and think like, okay, he just transfers all the time. But I don't think, when you look deeper into it, that's really not the case. So his only real transfer was when he left Butler his freshman year. The coach was still there. He left Butler, decided to go to Temple. He stayed at Temple for 3 years, and then the coach got fired, so he had to transfer there. After Arkansas, Eric Musselman left, went to USC, so he had to transfer there. And now he ended up at Gonzaga. But throughout his career, I mean, it's this whole transfer portal thing. I think it's, like I said, it's great for the athletes, but it also prepares the athletes for what it's like to be a professional. So for me, playing overseas, I mean, I'm in a different team every single year. So with what comes with that, you have to adapt a different style of play, different coaching styles, different players, the different energies based off players on your team, the relationships. So the fact that Caleb's been able to transfer, play in 4 different schools, and be able to produce numbers at every single school and adapt to their style of play says a lot about him and his resilience.
Yeah, and you bring it up, like you said, from the outside in, people trying to speak for other people. You know that I don't like that. I've never liked that. I've never liked somebody speaking for you or for anybody. And so that's why I feel like Wake Up Call, I know Wake Up Call is different because we tell the truth. We tell the story from the people. And Khalif, for me, I want to tell you something. I don't know if you heard it, but Houston Cougars head coach Kelvin Sampson, who I respect, and I've spent a lot of time speaking with Kelvin Sampson over the years, and I'm very much appreciative to the NCAA and to Houston for the opportunities. he got asked about Khalif. And he got asked about Gonzaga this year, and he said, listen, Gonzaga wasn't an 8 seed. Like, they should have been, and I agree with this, they should have been playing each other in the Sweet 16 for the right to go to the Elite 8, or they should have been playing beyond that. He said, somebody asked him about Khalif and Khalif's road and this and that. He said the fact that Khalif wanted to go to Gonzaga says a lot about him. It says that he cares about winning. Yeah. And I would just like to get your thoughts on Kelvin Sampson having respect and positivity towards your brother, and what it means to you that he saw Khalif's move to Gonzaga as a move to say, like, I want to go somewhere where, like, I'm focused on winning, I'm focused on, you know, obviously doing something special. Because when he said those words about Khalif, I don't think Kelvin Sampson says anything unless he wants to say it. So I'd love to get your thoughts.
No, I mean, anytime you get a coach of that caliber, you know, speaking highly of you about situations like that means, you know, so much. And just me as a brother, it meant a lot, because I know throughout Khalif's career, maybe people might have had a different perception about him that wasn't true. But all he's wanted to do is win. That's his big thing. He wanted, like, this whole summer, when he was thinking about what school he should go to, his biggest thing is he wanted to win games. And you know, with the transfer portal now, you have schools coming to you throwing you a ton of money, life-changing money.
Yeah.
But he said, you know what? If people know I can score the ball, people know how I impact the game on that end of the floor, on the offensive end. But I never had the opportunity to, you know, really say I can win games and make an impact on winning and playing a tournament. And that was his main goal of this whole entire season, was to make that happen. And as a brother watching that, you know, that's why I made the drive to see the NCAA Tournament games, because I knew this is his last shot doing it, and it was special. It was really special to see.
Yeah, I mean, and heartbreaking. And seeing him right after the game, the emotion. I mean, you felt that. You've been through that. How, again, so many people speak for student athletes and professional athletes and say, this is what I think they're feeling. But you're the one that feels it. You're the one that goes through it. You have put your hands on your knees. You've sat there and kind of just looked off into space and had those moments of thinking. When you saw him just incredibly emotional, 81-76, a game that Gonzaga fought to come all the way back into, bring me into how you've experienced those moments and just what it was like to understand exactly what Khalif was feeling in that moment, where Gonzaga was right there. And honestly, like I will echo Kelvin Sampson, that game shouldn't have happened until at least a round or two later. So to be in those moments, what did you feel, and what could you feel coming off of him, knowing everything that he's fought for?
Well, it's just, first off, with the sport of basketball, it just brings a ton of emotion. And I know my little brother already. I know he's an emotional guy to begin with. So once I saw that play break down like that, I already knew in my head, I'm like, all right, he's about to start crying. I already know. And it just shows, like, how much he cares. Like,
yeah,
he cares so much about this thing. I'm telling you, he loves the game, and I think truly through all the places he's been to throughout his college career, he really felt like he was wanted and needed at Gonzaga, and it felt like a real family to him for the first time throughout his college career. And I know he did not want that to end. I mean, he had the first game against Georgia. He had 24 points. They played amazing. And I know these guys really felt like they can, you know, go out here and beat Houston. I felt it myself, because just looking at the matchup-wise, I mean, Gonzaga is a tough team to stop from scoring. I know Houston's a good defensive team, but Gonzaga, people don't stop Gonzaga from scoring.
Yeah.
The problem we ran into is just Houston just wasn't missing anything. So that was the difference in the game. And I credit those guys so much for being able to fight back. They were down by, I think, 11 points with 2 minutes and 33 seconds left in the game. They come back, cut it to 1. You know, they come down, shoot, make 2 free throws. They have a chance to tie the game at the end of the game. I mean, they fall back and were able to put themselves in a situation to win that game, which not only credits Khalif, but credits everyone on the team and that coaching staff as well.
Yeah, and I mean, Mark Few, who I have an incredible amount of respect for, and he's one of the coaches that's still bringing a team to the court during NIL and transfer portal and all this stuff. Here with Tyus Battle, Syracuse Orange, great in my opinion. Number 25, go ahead and retire it someday. I won't be mad at you. So, Tyus, when we're talking about the NCAA tournament, when we're talking about big games, when we're talking about those moments, what moment do you go back to that you were most emotional about? Of your time at Syracuse, your 3 seasons, what game can you bring me back to where you can still feel it today?
I think I always go back to the game against Notre Dame in the Dome my sophomore year.
Okay.
It was a close game, back and forth game. I think I scored like the last 2 or 3 buckets to put us, in a position to win the game. And I think with about 10 seconds left, the game was tied. I come down, they go into a 2-3 zone, and the possession before, I came off the right side and hit a 3 off the high pick and roll.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking okay, time's running down, I'm about to do the same thing. I come off the right side, I go up for the shot, the ball slips out my hands. Notre Dame gets the ball, they go down there to the end, I'm chasing. The kid missed the layup, but another kid tips the ball back in and wins the game. And for me, it was tough because I was put in that scenario to win the game, and I felt like I let my teammates down. But and a lot of players, they would, the next time that a situation like that would happen, they would second guess it. But for me, like I said earlier on, if I'm on the floor, I feel like I can impact the game, and I have the confidence, and I have and I don't get sped up, and I just have that self-belief that I will make the shot the next time. But in that moment, I was pretty hurt about it, because I felt like I let my team down.
Yeah, and I mean those moments that you feel that you've gone through. If that was a tough moment, what was the one shining moment, so to speak? What was that moment that you go back to and you just smile, and it's always going to be that time at Syracuse where you felt really, really good about your teammates, about the game? What's the positive one?
I always go back to our run in the tournament our sophomore year. I mean, I tell people all the time that year, especially coming off the year before, my freshman year, when we were supposed to have a pretty good team. We brought up some really good players. We ended up not making the NCAA tournament, went to the NIT. And then going into my sophomore year, on the paper, we didn't have the same caliber of players.
Yeah.
So, people already wrote us off. But throughout the whole entire summer, preparing for the season, we had that belief that we were good enough to beat teams. And non-conference schedule, we proved that. I think we went 12-1 or 12-2, 11-2 during the non-conference. And then during the ACC play, it was a little rocky, a lot of up and downs, some losses, some big wins. But we always had that belief that teams do not want to play us. Teams do not want to play us. And we knew if we had that opportunity to get into the tournament, we were going to make the most of it. So we heard our names called. It was the best feeling ever. And from then on out, we were prepared. I mean, we held teams to 50, 53, 54 points a game. It was a grind out game every game we played in the tournament.
Yeah.
And we felt like we belonged. We felt like we belonged. And then to top it off, we beat Michigan State in Detroit, which was a home game for them, and it was an amazing feeling. Amazing film.
Yeah, I was there, and I went through the whole tournament with y'all, as I've done for many years. I'm going to tell you, you don't know this. This is how I got to Omaha, Nebraska. Okay, I need you to follow me. I need everybody watching, listening to follow me, because this is how much I love y'all, and I appreciate y'all, and I want to be there. So I get on a plane in Syracuse. I go to Minneapolis. I'm on this massive, huge plane to Minneapolis. It's got like 7 people on it, but it's got like 200 seats. I get to Minneapolis. I can't get to Omaha. So I'm going around.
Flight was canceled, or?
So it was like I was trying to get onto certain flights, and there were issues, small planes, and so I'm going through. I'm trying to find a flight to Omaha, Nebraska. There's gates everywhere, going up and down the gates, talking to my mom, trying to figure it out. Finally figure out I could go to Des Moines, Iowa. So I leave Minneapolis. I go to Des Moines, Iowa. I rent a car. I drive 2 hours to Omaha, Nebraska to get there a little bit after the game started to see y'all play Duke. So I went from Syracuse to Minneapolis to Des Moines, drove to Omaha, and when you drive from Des Moines, Iowa to Omaha, Nebraska, there ain't nothing but flatlands and a couple sheep. And I remember saying, is this going to be like Area 51? Like, there was nothing. And then it's kept saying your exit's coming up, and I'm like, either I went the wrong way or there's going to be a bunch of lights. I get off the exit, here's the lights, here's where they play the College World Series. I pull in, I run in there. The game, I think, was just getting started or had just gotten started, and I was able to see you guys. And it was like the weirdest, for me it was weird, because it was like quiet for me because we were sitting up top, and it was like darker up there. And I don't know if I was delirious because I had traveled all day, but it was such like a weird dream sequence. And then Syracuse almost wins, loses by 4, 69-65. And I just broke my heart. And then I literally went into my room, ordered a pizza that didn't get to me until past 1 o'clock in the morning, slept for like 4 hours, got on a plane, came back home. So that's what I did to come see you in Omaha, just so you know.
I have a similar situation just happened when I went to go see Caleb play in his first tournament game.
Okay.
So I initially was supposed to have a 6 a.m. flight on Friday. They played Friday, so I was going to fly at 6 a.m., connecting flight in Chicago, and then I would get to Wichita, Kansas by 12 o'clock. So it'll give me 3 hours before the game. The game started at 3:15 or something like that. So I live pretty close to the airport in Jersey. It's Newark Airport. So I get to the airport. I wake up around like 4 a.m., have my Uber ready, get to the airport. And as I'm walking up to the thing, I see that the flight from Newark to Chicago was canceled. So I go up to the place. I'm trying to find any flight possible. They end up sending me to a 5:45 flight to Dallas, but they're saying you might have to be standby. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna risk it. I got to see my little brother play in this game. So I end up flying to Dallas, take the 5:45 to Dallas. I'm first on standby list, so I'm pretty optimistic about this.
Yeah.
People going by, more and more people going by. And then at the end, it's like one extra seat. They're calling the guy's name. I'm like, okay, this guy's not going to show up. I can get on this plane. I'll make it the game. The guy ends up running with his bag. He's like, I'm here. Gets on the plane. So I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
So I end up having to go. At this point, it is about, I think it's like 10, maybe 10 a.m. at this point. So I had to go down and get a rental car and drive from Dallas to Kansas, Wichita, Kansas, which was a 6-hour drive. I made it to Wichita, Kansas at halftime of the game, and luckily they were blowing the team out. It was like a 20-0 in the first, 10 minutes of the game. So I was listening to the game as I was driving, but that was a crazy experience for me. That was.
So you had to drive from Dallas to Wichita, Kansas?
Dallas to Wichita. I drove from Dallas through Oklahoma to Wichita, Kansas. Yeah. And then, mind you, so my little sister was playing in Kansas the same weekend for her grind session tournament championship, and she was playing in Lawrence, Kansas. So after my little brother's game, me and my family, we drove 3 hours to Lawrence, Kansas to watch her play. And I drove back the next day to go see Caleb play.
So, and you drove back. So that's dedication. I want to hear nothing from the Battle family that this man don't put it in. But yeah, I was on standby too, coming through Minneapolis. That's why I was bouncing around so much. But this is a crazy thing about Minneapolis, and it's the thing that gives me like that feeling of I don't want to go back. Is when I was in Minneapolis, there was a flight to Atlanta, I think, and I was trying to get down to Disney, but I had to fly through that. And there was 160 something people on standby.
Oh, that's crazy.
So like in Minneapolis, like an entire plane worth of standby, and I was like, "What happens?" They're like, "Oh, we just keep rolling them. We just keep rolling them to the next flight, the next flight, the next flight." And so yeah, but 100 is the first time I've ever seen over 100 people on standby, and I just can't even like I can't even fathom how something like that happens. But Minneapolis Airport, I've had experiences that are enough for me, and as much as it's nice and it's right by where Prince grew up and there's a Prince store in there and all that good stuff, like the little bit of PTSD with Minneapolis Airport, Tyus.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
I do want to ask you this though: with Gigi and Khalif and you, can we do something? And if you agree to do this, then I want to make sure that I copyright and TM this right now. But can we do something called the Family Battle, and we do like a round robin of you and Khalif and Gigi one-on-ones, and we call it the Family Battle? Can I host this? Can I do a
that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. I'll definitely that'll actually really nice. I think they'll like that.
Yeah, the Family Battle, you, Khalif, and Gigi. So I know that we're gonna hopefully have Khalif on here. I'd love to have Gigi on here as well. Did Khalif tell you why he wore 99? Because when I see it, just to preface, I think about the Jay-Z song, I got 99 problems, but a blank ain't one. I see it on the flip side. I see it like, y'all might have 99 problems, but Khalif is your biggest one. So why did he wear number 99?
So that's actually funny. So when he first picked the number, I thought the same thing. Like, but he told me he wore it because one of his friends passed away. Okay. So I guess the number meant something towards him. Khalif, I mean, not many players wear number 99, and number 99 is a bold statement. But that's how Khalif is. He's different. He's different, and he's always authentically himself, which, I always praise him for. Yeah. And that's what makes him special.
Yeah, it's funny that you thought that, and I thought, because I saw 99, and I'm just like, I was thinking like maybe the teens, maybe a 20-something, and I saw 99, and I was like, all right, Khalif, like I'm gonna link you to Jay-Z. I mean, that's
of course.
So for you to go to the State of the Orange right now, to go from talking about your time in Syracuse and your experience to where the team is right now, the transfer portal ate away at this team during Boeheim's last few seasons. It's eaten away at the team for Adrian Autry. Syracuse is in its longest streak of not going to the NCAA tournament in over 50 years. It's been 4 years in a row, the last two of Boeheim, the first two of Adrian. How do you view the State of the Orange? They're trying to bring guys in the transfer portal. They have Carmelo Anthony's son. They're trying to do different things here right now. JJ's coming back, so that's good news. Donnie Freeman's coming off injury. That's good news. But again, most of the team is either graduating or leaving. How do you assess the State of the Orange? Because, I mean, you know it and I know it. When you were at Syracuse, it wasn't this kind of every year having a new team. So how do you kind of assess what's going on right now?
Well, this is how I try to explain it to people. I mean, first off, we are in an unprecedented situation. And the situation that Coach Autry is walked into is a situation it's not easy to navigate. and you have to rely on a lot of different factors. Like money is a huge thing. That's a big driving factor. And you just see the whole state of college basketball is changing, especially the ACC.
Yeah.
I mean, ACC is usually considered the basketball conference. That's what we're known for.
Yeah.
And for the past, what, 2, 3 years, we've been struggling. I mean, we had 3 teams in the tournament this year, 4 teams last year, and that's not what the ACC is known for. So I think at the end of the day, it's not just Syracuse. It's a hard situation to navigate, and I think a lot of teams are trying to figure it out. A lot of schools are trying to figure it out, and that's why you see a lot of prominent coaches who people felt like had a lot of years left coaching. They decide to retire because this is a hard thing to navigate. So I think people need to give. I mean, what Coach Autry is doing right now too, you're seeing that he's able to bring in guys.
Yeah.
He's getting high-level recruits. He's getting guys to stay. So those are all positive things, and I think those are building blocks to what's gonna happen. Is winning's gonna happen. So it's gonna take time, and obviously this year is extremely important. The transfer portal is extremely important, and we have to make sure we get the right guys who, first off, want to come to Syracuse, not just based off the money, and guys who want to win games. And that's the most important thing. If you bring in guys who just don't, they're just coming for the money, it won't work out. You see it at high level universities this year. You had Kansas, they weren't as good as they usually were, and they paid guys a lot of money.
Yeah.
So you need culture guys who are happy to put on a Syracuse uniform and go out there and win games.
Do you think you can do that in today's college climate? Do you think that you can build a team where people aren't coming for the money? They're not coming for, like, how much can you help me? How much can you put my face out there? I mean, we see it with Gonzaga. We see it with some other teams. But there's also the notion of there was no upsets really this year because all those really good players that are on the Drakes, that are on the Wichita States, that are on the, you name it, they'll find it. The teams that are kind of off the beaten path, that they're not winning these games because the players that they had that they found are being poached by schools and being offered money and whatnot. Are we living in that world where we're not going to see 13 seeds and 14 seeds and the Ohio Bobcats aren't going to do it and, the Texas Corpus Christis and whatnot? Like, are we living in a world now where the players that would have won tournament games for the little guy are now being paid by the big guy?
I don't think so, because I think this whole situation is going to go in waves. So, like, even if you get a high-level kid from a mid-major and he gets, poached from a bigger team, stuff like that, you might have a guy that maybe he was considered a high-level guy, doesn't have a good season, he's going to have to drop down to a mid-major. So it's gonna fluctuate, you know what I mean? And I even think this past season, like, maybe the amazing upsets that we want in the NCAA tournament didn't happen, but the reality of those games even happening is very rare. And you had a Colorado State, lose to Maryland at the buzzer. So, like, it's just you had games like that, but the team who's usually considered a higher level, they end up winning the game at the end of the day this season. But I think we're still gonna have our Cinderella stories and stuff like that. But the way college basketball is today, it's a different landscape, and I think it's gonna take teams and schools time. It's gonna take some time to figure it out, but once they do, I think it's gonna be fine.
Is the ACC as bad as the NCAA pitches them to be by consistently giving them 3 to 5 spots for now their 18 schools and 15 schools before that? Is the ACC as bad as the NCAA treats them, or is the ACC better than the NCAA's selection committee shows?
I mean, this year it was kind of tough to see. I mean, because I mean, you had a team at the top who's still playing today, Duke. I feel like they never dropped off at all.
Yeah.
The other teams had a little bit of drop off. Clemson is still good. Louisville's gotten better. They're back to what they usually are. Um, but the tournament's tough. I mean, and I think what the NCAA does, they base it off of who you beat.
Yeah.
And just because, the middle of the pack ACC and the bottom of the pack ACC is just not very good right now,
Yeah.
it's hard, it ties, the committee's hands because you have teams in the SEC that are competing against these high level teams every single night or Big Ten every single night. So it makes it tough. And I guess they got something right because you got all four number one seeds in the Final Four. I mean, you had what all two or three ACC teams lose in the first two rounds, so it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, only the second time in the history of the NCAA tournament from 1985, the year I was born, that we have four number one seeds all in the Final Four, which is crazy. So they have the opportunity to duke it out and see who is the true number one. I'm going to ask you this, Tyus, and I want your honest opinion here. We're going to go on the women's side and on the men's side. So I'm going to put you on the hot seat, and I apologize in advance. Who is the best number one? Is it Duke? Is it Auburn? So Auburn was the number one overall seed. Then Duke was the number two number one seed. The third number one seed, Houston. The fourth, the Gators. The Gators played in the SEC championship that Auburn did not play in. The Gators beat Tennessee, who beat Auburn. So, who's the better SEC team between Auburn and Florida is my first question. My second question is, who is the true number one seed?
It's tough. It is tough because honestly, all these teams are very, very good. When the tournament started, out of the number one seeds, I like Florida the most. Me personally, just because they've been looking really good lately. I think they hit their stride at the right time. They have guards that can score the ball. They have bigs that are physical, that go and rebound. They're athletic, and they're playing with a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
But as I keep on watching this thing, I thought Duke was. I'm like seeing them playing the ACC. I'm like, I see them blowing out these teams. I'm like, okay, the ACC's down this year, so maybe it's just like. But as I keep on watching them play, I'm more and more impressed because they defend, they score, they run some great sets.
Yeah.
And Cooper Flag, he just makes the right basketball play. And for a freshman making plays like that and drawing that much attention, it can be scary, especially when you have the shooters around that on the perimeter that they have. So I think it's going to be Duke, Florida in the championship, me personally. But I do see Florida pulling it out at the end.
Okay, going with Florida. I like it. On the women's side, I want to thank the women because they were more gentle to my bracket. UCLA made it. That was the only one I didn't choose of the teams that are in the Final Four. I had NC State pulling an upset. So shout out to UConn. Shout out to South Carolina. Shout out to Texas. Had all of them in my bracket. And shout out to UCLA. I'm happy to be wrong. Who is the best team in women's basketball? Who's going to take the championship?
Well, going into it, I thought it was USC. I was riding with Juju. I think she's the best player in college basketball right now. And I think just like I said before about Cooper Flag, that she just draws so much attention offensively, and they have shooters on the perimeter, and they play really good defense. So I had USC winning this thing. But now it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. I either have UConn or I have UCLA. I think maybe UCLA size might get to UConn a little bit.
Yeah.
It might be tough for them.
Yeah.
But UConn's looking really good. They're looking really good. And I feel like you always have to go with a player that can, finish the deal for you, and that's what Paige does. She can score. She makes good decisions. So my final bet is on UConn.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got UConn, South Carolina, and I'm going with Dawn Staley. So even though I think that's going to be a great game, hopefully it happens. Before we get to rapid fire, I do have to ask you this, which I guess you might consider rapid fire because I am going to put you on the hot seat. But how many times did you tell Jim Boeheim no while you were at Syracuse? How many times did he say, Tyus, pass the ball, and you went, Or he said, Tyus, you're coming out, and you said, nah, coach, I got 3 more minutes that I got to play. How many times did you say no to Boeheim?
I don't think I ever directly told him no. Maybe I gave him like a little acknowledgement, like okay, but I went and did something different.
Okay.
One situation that definitely stands out, and I think I might have told the story before, but it was the Georgetown game my junior year, and the game was close. I mean, it was a buzzer. I hit the shot at the end, but we called a timeout like right before that play. And the play was initially not for me. It was for Elijah to get the ball and try to go score. But me and Elijah both had a mutual understanding, like, no, I'm coming to get this ball, and I'm going to go try to score. So that's definitely one situation that maybe in my mind I told him no, but never in a game I'm going to tell coach, like, nah, I'm not doing that,
Yeah. No, I know you've never personally said it. I just want to know how your actions said it. So,
Oh yeah. That's one of the actions. Definitely, maybe the play was drawn up for someone else, but I'm going to get the ball.
yeah, I can appreciate that. I can respect that. Is there anything that now that Boeheim is not your coach, in the sense of you can get in trouble, is there anything that you want to say, like, hey, I wish we didn't play this zone in this game, or I wish you had drawn this? Like, if you could talk to Bay right now and say, statute of limitations is over, I got a question about this, is there something that comes to mind?
I think the first thing obviously is man to man. Mixing it up a little bit would have been nice. Just because you know what it is at the end of the day, I think we had the team to do it.
Yeah.
Like I think we had the guys to do it. I mean, we were long, athletic, and we were all capable defenders. So I think, and I think doing that would have actually, made it tougher on the opponent. But every coach has their thing, and every coach sticks to how they like to play. And at the end of the day, I chose to go to Syracuse, and I know it's not like I didn't know we weren't going to play 2-3 zone. I already knew that. But I think doing that would have. I think that's the one thing, and I mean, he obviously probably already knows that.
Yeah, that 2-3 zone. So that call from Tyus Battle here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, talking about a little bit of everything here. Let's jump into rapid fire. You can put me on the hot seat. Tyus, what do you got for me?
Oof. Oh, you having me start with it? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me think. Favorite new show out right now?
Good question. Favorite new show out right now? Daredevil, Born Again. And being in New York City right now, being by Hell's Kitchen, I feel that. I actually wore my Punisher shirt to the Yankee game last night. So I'm going to say Daredevil, Born Again. And I'm going to say Severance, because that's been a really interesting show. So
Yeah,
I'll say
good.
Severance. What'd you say?
Severance is good. I just finished season 2. It's
Yeah.
very good. I haven't watched Daredevil Born Again yet, but I definitely have to watch that.
Yeah, I'd say those two. My question to you, if you and I were going to join Marvel, what superhero would you make yourself? What superhero would you make me? And what city would you and I protect together?
Oof. Oh, that is tough. That is a tough one. Superhero.
Yeah.
It has to be a Marvel superhero, so I have to say the superhero's name. Or is it like... Let me think. My favorite, Marvel superhero for me, I do like Iron Man. I'm a big Iron Man guy. Uh, for you, I can see you as a Spider-Man. You could be a good Spider-Man. You
Okay.
know, and
Okay.
we could protect New York. You know, it's the best city in the world. Protect New York.
I like that. So I'm going to say two things. One, my goatee, little ode back to Tony Stark. Two, Spider-Man is my favorite superhero ever, and I was an extra in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield. So,
Really?
yes.
See, there you go. See, I already knew somehow. I already knew.
Yeah. See, Tyus, you know me well. What's your next question for me?
Um, hmm. You said you're a Yankees fan, right?
So I am a Diamondback first, a Yankee second, but I'm wearing this. I brought my dad
You got
for
the
his
hat on.
70th birthday because he's a Yankee fan. My grandpa's a Yankee fan.
All right. So since you went to the Yankees game and the whole controversy with the torpedo bat, what are your thoughts on that?
I think teams are always going to try and find interesting ways to get a leg up. I think the Houston Astros, we found out that they're all really good drummers. So I think that if it's legal, then other teams will probably try to do it. Maybe some other teams already are doing it. I think the bats didn't wake up for the Yankees in the first two games against the Diamondbacks, but the torpedo bat woke up last night. So I don't know if they put a little extra sauce in there. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I would say if it's legal, then it seems interesting. But I mean, people have been doing things forever: steel bat, wooden bat, corked bat. Like people try to find ways to have a leg up. So it'll be interesting to see how Major League Baseball handles it. But baseball is also a lot better when the Yankees are good. So
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to kind of do. I mean, keep in mind, years and years later, they punished Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, but baseball was saved by Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. So it's like they used them in the beginning and then they punished them afterward. So
Yeah.
I don't know what this is going to look like, but I guess if it's legal, more teams will try to do it.
Okay.
My question back to you, Tyus. If you became a world-renowned chef, what city would you have your first restaurant in, and what would be your signature dish?
I mean, the city is easy. I'll say New York. I
Okay.
mean, best food city in the world, and I'm standing by that. The best food city in the world. You can get anything you need in New York. My signature dish. That's tough. That's tough. I mean, me personally, I don't know how to cook many different things.
Okay.
I'm a very basic chef. I mean, I stick to like chicken, fish, don't really eat red meat,
Okay.
but I do make a pretty good Mediterranean pasta.
Okay.
Mediterranean pasta. So I think that would be my signature.
What's in the Mediterranean pasta?
Tomatoes, cilantro. I make it with linguine. Gotta do the white wine. It's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty good.
Okay. All right. Is there chicken?
Shrimp. Shrimp
Shrimp.
Mediterranean.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I love it.
Yes.
I like that. What's your final question for me?
Um, hmm. Are you team Stephen A. Smith or LeBron James?
LeBron is a baby. But he is such a friggin' baby. I've never seen a man be at the top of the mountain complain about everything. That man flops better than the Matrix. I think they should put him instead of Keanu Reeves out there. But
Oh boy.
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna put it to you like this: I'm never for attacking family, and LeBron felt like his family. I don't know enough about that, but I will tell you this: Bronny James. If I was Bronny, I'd be like, I'm in the NBA because Daddy put me in the NBA, and I wouldn't like that. And so, I mean, he was the second to last pick and all that stuff, and he got he got a pretty nice contract of guys that typically get like no money for being picked there. So Stephen A is not someone that I agree with on everything, and yet I do think I agree with him on some things. When it comes to LeBron, his lack of sportsmanship, his lack of respect for the game at times, his making players audition for him when he goes to a team, and essentially being the general manager, being his own head coach. I think he's too much of a drama queen for me to ever lean on him. But I also think that Stephen A. shock jocks a little bit. So it's hard for me to answer that question. I just respect Michael Jordan more than I respect LeBron James. And if LeBron seeks his heart, he would understand why.
Yeah, it's definitely a complicated situation. It's a tough situation at the end of the day. I mean, because Stephen A is, he likes, those situations for Stephen A brings in the views, and that's what Stephen A is looking for at the end of the day. And I definitely understand in ways where LeBron is coming from. Because at the end, I think when he approached Stephen A was coming from strictly a father scenario, you know what I mean? And that's what makes it hard when you have your son in the business with you. It makes it very difficult because, I mean, I would say I would always stick up for my little brother, my little sister, my family, and maybe sometimes we make decisions that we maybe wouldn't have made if, we weren't as close to them. So I definitely, it's a tough scenario.
Yeah. No, it is. It's very tough for sure. But yeah, there's just things that LeBron's done that'll never sit right with me. Walking off a court when he was losing to the Raptors with 4 minutes left, like there's just things that people don't do that you can't do as a professional, knowing that kids are watching you and they're going to emulate you. And yeah, I think he's a terrific player. There's a lot of things that he does that I can't ride with. If I was a father trying to raise my child and my child was acting like him, I'd be like, all right, just because you like LeBron doesn't mean we could do all this stuff. So
you're a Jordan guy for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm a Jordan guy because I never saw Jordan disrespect the game.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And Jordan would talk about his teammates. I mean, I remember they were like, oh, Jordan, da-da-da, you did this, you did that, you did the other thing. And he goes, yeah, well, if Steve Kerr never hit that shot in the corner, we wouldn't be here. And if this guy didn't do this, and, Luke Longley and, Tony Kukoc, like he was mentioning all these people that nobody was ever talking about. And then I watched LeBron, after he hit like a game-winning shot, talk about how he knew he was going to make it. He makes it in practice all the time. He knows what he's doing. He never mentioned a single teammate. And I was just like, ew. Like, that's the ick for me. Like, if you got up to the podium and you're like, I'm Tyus Battle. Jesus knows I'm Tyus Battle. Ain't nobody better than Tyus Battle. I can make every shot. I'm going to do everything I need to do. I could be playing that game by myself because I'm the greatest thing that basketball ever saw. I'd be like, Tyus, come on. You know what I mean? Like, you don't talk like that.
No, you're right.
And LeBron, I don't know if any woman can love LeBron more than he loves himself. So that's what I'll say. I would
definitely not a LeBron fan. I should have led with that.
I'm just saying, Tyus, like I respect that he can play basketball, but dude is just, he went to the All-Star game and told people like an hour or two before that he wasn't playing. He never told anybody he wasn't playing. And so he took a spot from somebody else.
That was definitely wrong.
Yeah, so I mean, like ego, when the ego goes before the spirit, I don't ride with that. If LeBron can switch that, then we're good. My last question for you. If you played one-on-one with a Syracuse basketball player for $1 million, it's got to be a big competition. You can't pick somebody where you're like, oh, I'm going to beat this guy. No. I want you to tell me the best competitor that you would put on the opposite side of you in a no-holds-barred game-to-5 $1 million on the line. What Syracuse player would you play?
And obviously we have to be around the same age at this point, like at our primes.
Yeah, in your prime.
We're at school. No hold bar, $1 million.
Yeah.
What am I picking? It gotta be someone in the same position as me around. Um, I'm a competitor, so I'm going for the gusto, and I'm gonna pick Carmelo. That's the player I would want to play against.
Okay. Carmelo
That's
Anthony,
just how I am.
2-5
That's how I am.
for $1 million.
Wait, game to five. Game to five. That's all I need. Game to five.
Gain of 5, that's all you need.
And that's what I want. If that was my choice,
Yeah.
that's 100% what I'm going for.
Okay. Tyus Battle, Carmelo Anthony. You heard it here first. So let's make it happen. Let's do it. I love it. How old is Carmelo's the same age as me right now. Carmelo's what, 38,
Yeah,
39?
I'm talking about both of us were in college at the same
So
time.
you
like,
so you want Carmelo in his prime, 18-year-old?
Yeah, I don't want Carmelo now. I want him in his prime. That's if we're talking about, I want to go against the best, the best I can go against for this.
What he just say to you, Carmelo? He say you're too old.
But at this point, he would definitely be right now because I can't even. I'm going off of knee surgery. I cannot move, so he got me right now.
He said Carmelo gonna bring the wheelchair and he's gonna be on crutches.
Oh man.
So which one? So Carmelo at 39, you rehabbing from a knee injury. Whose body's gonna make it up to 5?
I can't even. I just started jogging like a month ago, so I would 100% give it to him right now.
Okay, so maybe you and Carmelo can play right now a game of horse.
Horse. That'll be better. Horse is about our speeds right now.
What is your horse jump? Like, what is your horse go-to shot? Like, if you're gonna do a trick shot, because I just played horse, and I won on a dribble from the top of the key to the right wing, and it was a fadeaway jumper. Fadeaway going away on the right side. That's what won horse for me. What's your horse go-to?
My horse go-to is I shoot the ball. Like I shoot the ball from behind my back. I throw the ball up from behind my back, goes over my head, goes in the basket. That's my horse shot.
From where?
It's my unstoppable move that no one ever beats me with.
From where?
I can get it pretty close to about like a little bit outside the circle.
Okay.
So, and I can do it from off the backboard. I can do it off left side, right side, straight down the middle. So that's my go-to shot if things get close.
Can I ask when you figured out you could do that?
Sure, I've been doing that shot since middle school. I feel like.
Okay, just something you can do.
Yeah, just because me and my little buddies, we used to play horse a lot, one-on-ones a lot. So there's a shot that he can never beat me with. So I always pull it out when things get a little close.
I like it. Well, you heard it here first. In their prime, Tyus Battle, Carmelo Anthony for $1 million. In right now, me versus Tyus and horse.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Don't be dunking the ball, Tyus, unless you want to lift me up and get me there.
Yeah.
So that being said, Tyus Battle, for Tyus, for Gigi, for Khalif, for the whole Battle family, and for Wake Up Call here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, it is my pleasure. It is my honor. Tyus, you know that my bonds with all the student athletes that come through Syracuse and from all over the world means a lot to me. And building those bonds while you're in school so that you know who I am and I know who you are so we can do this. Thank you for being open to that. I can't do it without you and without the awesome people that I met. So thank you for seeing me for who I am. Thank you for spending time and always treating me with respect and building our friendship. I can't tell you how much honestly, I can't tell you how much it means to me. So I thank you for that.
I appreciate that. And thank you for having me.
So Gigi, Khalif, you're on the clock. Tyus.
We got to make it happen.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. Get your legs ready, Tyus. Carmelo, 39-year-old Melo's waiting for you. I'll talk with you soon.
All right, sounds good.
All right, take care, man.
All right.
That coming from Tyus Battle one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I love this. I want to play Tyus and horse. I got some trick shots. I got the one, and you know what? It was used against me. Shout out to Connor for this. he used this shot against me, and him and his brother Dylan both take this shot. It's like angled behind the basket. You got to put it up over the backboard and drop it straight down. I used to do it in my driveway all the time. Made it a ton. I used to practice it like crazy, and then it was used to my peril in horse. So I need to get back out. I need to practice. We're going to take one final step aside here on Wake Up Call. We'll wrap up the show from New York City right after this. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicoli's.com. That's myaviccollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to K-9 Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see K-9 Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call K-9 Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday, check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to K-9 Campground.
Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks comes to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6 and on Sundays from 10 to 5. Find GG Cards and Breaks for all your sports card and trading card needs. Of course, hockey, basketball, soccer, baseball, football, and more, including Disney Lorcana, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, and Pokemon while supplies last. They have graded cards. They have singles, RPAs, which stands for Rookie Patch Auto. They have celebrity autographs, potential one-of-one cards, so many different things that you'll find there. Perfectly graded PSA 10s. They just got a bunch of cards back in from their shipment to PSA, so you can get graded cards and bring those home. Or you could buy packs and boxes and see what you can get. See what cards you pull out of there, the rare ones. And I've pulled so many rare cards from GG Cards and Breaks, and I want to thank the Midas Touch, the absolutely incredible whatever energy goes through Anthony Campbell, the incredible positive energy that he has. So make sure you head over to GG Cards and Breaks today. Thank you for all the work that you all do. God bless, and much appreciation to the place that helps us all stay big kids. GG Cards and Breaks, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Head there Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6 and on Sundays from 10 to 5. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. I appreciate you being here, and we have had to make shift here as we are on the road, and my dad and I being down in New York City for the Yankee game. So I appreciate y'all for hanging out with us and navigating through today's broadcast with us as my dad and I got to make history in doing our first ever show together. He's been on the show before, but we've never done a show together, and we've never done it in the same place here on camera, and so first time ever on video together, and I appreciate that, and I love my dad, and I love that we got to share this together. So youtube.com and facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com is where you'll find us Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, many thanks to the incredible places that have Wake Up Call in every country that we have reached, in all the states that we have reached, how easily accessible it is to find us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, as well as Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Make sure you subscribe and follow us. From New York to North Carolina, the Brooklyn Pickle is down in Southern Pines, North Carolina, and you can find them on 1788 Old Morganton Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Find them today. Let them know that Wake Up Call sent you. They're right down the road from Pinehurst Golf Course, and so you can connect with them and get in touch with them right there down the street from Pinehurst Golf Course, which is obviously well known to the PGA, and we look forward to seeing you down there. Many thanks to all of our partners in Central and Upstate New York. Great Lakes Honda City. Inside of these Great Lakes Honda City studios, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Brakes, Servo Mation, Mon Paz, Avicoli's, K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, Mother's Cupboard, Chick-fil-A Cicero, as well as Pizza Man, Brian's Landing, and of course we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Dolphins on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. during Dolphin Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, with student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. You can find all of our content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and of course you can find our Lemoyne playlist. The Dolphins are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to LemoyneDolphins.com, and as always, Fins Up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bobcats in the Bobcat Buzz every single month with student athletes, coaches, and administration joining the show to tell their stories. The Bobcats are right there on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our BSC Syracuse playlist. The Bobcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find the Bearcats during Bearcat Time every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. You'll find Moments with Marshall featuring Gene Marshall, the athletics director of Binghamton University, and the Bearcat Break Room with student athletes, coaches, and administration. All of our Bearcat content is on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. With that being said, here on the show, I want to thank Carvel DeWitt for the annoying moment of the week, Chick-fil-A Cicero for lead, speaking on the bond between dad and son, Top Dog of the Week, honoring Aaron Judge, Trent Grisham, as well as Geraldo Perdomo as our top dogs of the week, and honoring my dad and this time that we got to spend together, proudly presented by K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare. Big thanks to Tyus Battle for an awesome conversation, and a thanks to New York City for hosting my father and I. We appreciate being here with you. We thank you for following us in our makeshift Great Lakes Honda City studios today. Head to Great Lakes Honda City Monday through Saturday, and of course let them know that DT sent you. As always, on Wake Up Call, God bless, no stress, do your best. We'll talk soon. Stay safe and take care.